This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. A group of people sleeping rough in Berrydale fear they have few options after being served a direction to vacate today. They've made a former campground their temporary home amid a housing shortage. But the Glenorchy City Council says it isn't safe to stay.
These campers at Berrydale are the human face of Tasmania's housing shortage. They've used this old campground for the last 9 weeks, but now they've been told to go.
Glenorchy City Council directs you to immediately vacate the property and remove all your belongings.
Council officers turned up on site today accompanied by police. They served directions to vacate, saying they're illegally squatting and trespassing.
Upset inside because I'm homeless and we've got nowhere to go.
What's that like?
It's horrible because everyone else has got houses and they're warm and out, but we've got nothing. And how the council's treating us, it's just wrong.
It is not a safe place to be. The former caravan park site does not have any amenities, so we are concerned about their well-being and their safety. And as I say, that also of the recreational users in that particular space as well.
Glenorchy City Council says it's directed the campers to a number of support services, with some securing temporary accommodation.
They have been presented with a range of options. I believe that the latest options that have been presented to them have been deemed suitable, and so they will be moving on the next day or so.
So as of now, we have got no coin in our pocket, no money. We have bugger all fuel and very, very limited resources. So I'm going to try, if I can, to get into the showgrounds.
The Hobart Showgrounds, a temporary home for many Tasmanians affected by our housing crisis. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
A 34-year-old woman is expected to front court tonight, charged with deliberately setting fire to a Launceston charity store on Wednesday. Police say $20,000 worth of damage was caused to furniture and donations at My Charity store in Mowbray. The Newnham woman has also been charged with attempting to start a fire at a Rochalee property earlier this month. She'll appear in an out-of-hours court session tonight. The cause of a fire which damaged a Mission Australia property in Clarendon Vale overnight is being investigated. Fire crews were called to the house fire at around 1 o'clock this morning. The blaze is believed to have started in the storage room beneath the house, but authorities are yet to determine its exact cause. The damage bill is estimated to be $100,000. A nationwide crackdown on welfare cheats is set to begin today as the federal government orders hundreds of thousands of scammers to pay up. Currently, a staggering $905 million is owed. The Department of Human Services has begun contacting 170,000 people to notify them that they will soon be hit by extra interest charges unless they agree to a repayment plan. 2,511 people in Tasmania have unpaid welfare debt and collectively owe more than $13 million. Bill Shorten has committed $100 million towards a new Bridgewater bridge if he wins the federal election. It's estimated the bridge will cost over $500 million to build, but Mr Shorten says this funding is a down payment towards construction.
What we will do is we are reversing the cuts to the Midland Highway. We're putting the money back in the budget for Tasmania.
The state Liberals pledged $46 million over 5 years as part of its election promises. After the overwhelming popularity of Big Bash in the north of the state last season, UTAS Stadium is set to get more of it in 2018. And with the competition expanding by an extra 16 games, fans in the south are also set to benefit.
They may be the Hobart Hurricanes, but it was the north of the state who proved the club's biggest supporters last season.
It was our largest home game of the season, just under 16,000 support, and importantly we had 5,000 people in the venue for our WBBL game as well.
After Channel 7 recently secured the Australian cricket broadcasting rights, 16 extra games have been added to the 2018 BBL fixture, setting the north up for a double dose of Big Bash action.
That means 7 home games for us. Our preference is to play 5 of those games in Hobart at Blundstone Arena and 2 in Launceston.
The Hurricanes are hoping the move will help grow its northern membership base to around 3,000, with plans to space the games out to separate ends of the season in a bid to attract solid crowd numbers to both matches.
Tasmania is different to any other state. We don't have 80% of our population in one area. We have 50% down south and 50% around the north, the northwest. So it's very important that the north, the northwest gets a taste to see top cricket.
The prospect of more top-tier sport also swayed in Council's decision to postpone the stadium's long overdue resurfacing until 2019.
So that we can make sure that we get the football finished, Big Bash in place, and we can have the number of games that we want to have in Big Bash and football right on this stadium.
Tom Cooper, Southern Cross News.
Welcome back, everyone. The coroner has delivered findings into the death of a murdered man, but questions remain for the victim's family. In line with a murder trial, the coroner found 46-year-old Brett Williams was stabbed to death by Stuart Barry Russell at Eggs and Bacon Bay in 2011. Russell was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 22 years jail. In his findings, the coroner says 2 bystanders didn't help the victim as he lay dying, but did cooperate with police. The victim's family questioned why no one else was charged, but the coroner says he's restricted by legislation and can't answer that question. A Myer makeover, years in the making, has been unveiled in Hobart today. After years of suffering fires and flooding, the new store is said to be a sign of confidence in the state's retail industry.
It's been over 10 years since a fire devastated the Myer store in Hobart. But now the final stage of a major makeover has been unveiled. Today, excited shoppers seeing the new space for the first time.
I'm really excited to see it all opened up. I really like that Hobart's kind of progressing a bit more and becoming a bit more modern, and I think a Myer's a really good way to show that.
The state government on hand to officially open the new store.
12,500 square metres of retail space over 5 floors. Now, I'm a farmer by trade, as you all know. That's over 3 acres of retail space, which is just fantastic for Hobart. It's fantastic for Tasmania.
The Hobart City Council has invested $2 million into the Liverpool Street entrance, and Myer are confident that the store will be a success.
Well, I think a store like this that's a showpiece, it's an iconic store for us. I'm very confident that sales are going to be very, very strong, and so I look forward to that.
But congratulations, everybody. It's a great moment, adding a great stimulus to the city of the CBD, and we thank you very much.
Today, the store hosted 12 hours of shopping celebrations, including pop-up fashion parades featuring Myer ambassador Rachel Finch.
So there's something for everyone, and I think that is the best way to ignite or open or spark a new store, and Myer Hobart are doing it really well.
Myer's doors will be open until 9 p.m. tonight. Ruby Kamain, Southern Cross News.
The father of Princess Mary has presented scholarships in his daughter's name. 5 Danish students were awarded the $2,000 funds to help them study at the University of Tasmania. They were selected on their academic merit and motivation to learn in our state.
It's really an honour to receive this scholarship, and the money it brings allows me to not worry about the expenses on an exchange like this too much.
The students will be studying in Hobart until June. Hundreds of people turned out in Beaconsfield this afternoon for a big celebration of the local community. The event catering for the young and young at heart, with a range of fun-filled activities to keep the crowds entertained.
Proving to be a real knockout.
It's all about our community coming together and just having a lot of fun.
The Beaconsfield Youth and Community Festival hitting the mark this afternoon, with hundreds flocking to celebrate the local community.
Beaconsfield is a hub for the region, for the local communities that surround Beaconsfield, and this is a central point for them.
Watching all the people show their talent and try out some things.
The highly anticipated event in its 3rd year, the results of a collaboration between young people in the area.
The Youth Advisory Council of the West Tamar have put a lot of effort into this, and they're really making their mark in the region.
And especially with things like this, you've got the older kids showing the younger kids how to fire the bows and arrows, so it gives a bit of mentorship as well.
offering a range of fun activities while also allowing local services to engage with those attending.
Build the connections, let them know that there's so many services here for them and so many good opportunities for them to follow.
Young ones keen to try something new, even if it means falling over again and again.
And it was scary being knocked over at first, but then it got better.
All while keeping the community spirit alive.
It doesn't matter about winning, it's all about having a go.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A beer lover's delight is underway tonight with the Fresh Hop Festival kicking off for another year. It's a chance for the state's best brews to gather together, all eager to take home the prize of Top Drop.
The country's top hop drops all in one place. It sure is a festive sight that's uniquely Tasmanian.
It's never seen before beers, so there's 25 plus beers that have never been released by any of these breweries before, and you get to taste them here first.
Local brewers source fresh hops to make single batch hopped up beers on tap for this weekend, serving up flavours and taste combinations not seen anywhere else.
We're doing a Anzac biscuit inspired India Pale Ale, so it has some cool malty characters to it, lots of coconut and oats and maple syrup kind of characters coming through, so that's probably going to be, well, in my opinion, probably the most exciting one.
Now in its third year, the celebration of all things beer is going from strength to strength, with close to 2,000 people expected through the gates, many even coming from interstate to serve up their frothy delights.
We've got a couple of bars up in New South Wales and a little brewery, so they asked us to be one of the mainland breweries to come along.
Beer lovers this year also asked to take notes and rate the hop offerings to help decide the 2018 People's Choice Award. But if you're anything like me and don't froth over a frothy, there are other options available, with espresso martinis and gin and tonics also available from the sidebar. The festival runs until Sunday. Jessica Moran, Southern Cross News.
With the rise of music streaming services across the globe, the vinyl record isn't as common as it once was. But a Tassie store is gearing up to take part in an international day to celebrate the nostalgia of all that's vinyl.
For many, it represents the good old days. Flicking through records, a piece of paradise for music aficionados.
I think it's just reliving a little bit of nostalgia, you know.
This store owner says the humble record is making a comeback.
We sell vinyl to 12-year-olds through to 90-year-olds, and that's increasing.
His business is just one of hundreds across the globe taking part in tomorrow's Record Store Day, celebrating a shared passion for music's physical form.
I remember as a kid, you know, coming into town and going around all the different record stores, and it was exciting, you know, and there was an anticipation about, you know, new vinyl coming out.
Vinyl enthusiasts counting down to get hold of rare album reissues and special releases.
Record companies press very limited amounts of these titles. They get distributed to independent stores all around the world.
This album is just one of 400 released across the globe, with music lovers expected to line up from the early hours tomorrow to purchase their own piece of music history.
Experiencing real music, a little bit different to probably your 20-second soundbite that you get on, you know, downloads and iPods and whatever else.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Now look at the day's business and finance news thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed modestly lower, largely due to losses from the heavyweight mining sector. The ASX 200 index fell 12.2 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 77.07 US cents and 106.47 New Zealand cents.
The race for the Targa Tasmania title is set to come down to the wire, with Matt close within striking distance of six-time champion Jason White with just 1 day left of racing. White started day 5 37 seconds clear before Close narrowed the gap by 10 seconds on the run from Strawn to Tarraleah. Michael Bray and his 1975 Tirana boast a comfortable lead in the Classic GT, with Graham Copeland set to claim honours in the Classic Handicap. While John Sutcliffe and his Subaru STI have a comfortable 1.5 minute lead in the early moderns. The field is expected to cross the finish line in Hobart around midday tomorrow. To TSL, and with a string of big-name players still unavailable, Clarence is set to field around 10 fresh faces for this weekend's clash with North Launceston at Blunston Arena, as the Bombers look to bounce back from a 52-point hiding at the hands of Glenorchy. With a last-minute bout of gastro decimating the Bombers list last weekend, the reigning premiers were dished up a rare reality check at home.
Bit disappointing last week in terms of the way that we went about things. I mean, the effort was there, we just didn't have the polish. So if we keep building from what we had round 1, round 2, yeah, things are looking up.
North will be back to full strength this Saturday, but face a side that's had the better of them at Blunston for the past 2 seasons.
They'll push run up around the ball, and I think most sides will look to do that against us. We've got quite a strong midfield, so I'd be surprised if they want to play one-on-one footy with us in the midfield.
The Clarence list will look a lot different to previous matchups with the Bombers, with Ryan Edmondson, Keegan Wiley and Jason and Ryan Bailey all unavailable.
We've still got a little bit out of our best 22, but I think it's exciting for the guys coming in to see what they can bring to our team, and we keep learning each week.
Undefeated after their 2 matches against Lauderdale and North Hobart, the Roos are yet to be truly tested, but come Saturday the side will find out just where they stand in the TSL's pecking order.
I think every week you want the same effort and endeavour. If you get that, then I think you can teach the players throughout the week or on game day where they need to improve.
To the NPL now, and South Hobart will look to bounce back from one of its worst ever starts to the season, but to do so they'll have to topple an in-form Launceston City, who are sitting pretty on top of the table.
You know he's going to have the team really fired up. You know they are hurting because they shouldn't have lost that game. So you possibly get Southgate. It's the worst for us.
If we can get a win tomorrow and turn the tables around, we'll be heading in the right direction. So that's what we intend.
City are flying high following a comfortable 2-0 win over Olympia, with South Hobart coming off a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Devonport. And following her recent gold medal haul with the women's fours and triples teams at the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast, Tasmania's Queen of Lawn Bowls, Rebecca Van Ash, has been selected to represent the country in the Jackaroos' upcoming tour of England and Wales. The 5-woman squad will compete in several internationally capped events throughout the 2-month tour, which begins in June.
Good evening. Hobart and Burnie 17 today. Launceston the warmest around the state with 21 and Devonport 18. Some low cloud and valley fog started the day off. As that cleared, the smoke haze became trapped under the high. So a bit of haze around the place today. Liaweenie had a chilly start with a -4 but warmed up to join Strawn and Ooze on 17. St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Smithton all 18 degrees. Lowhead Grove and the Islands 19 today. Some low-level cloud over the southwest of Tasmania and over the Bass Strait Islands. The rest of the state cloud-free, little bit of smoke haze of course generated from multiple fires across the state. Now over the Bight we have a low pressure system whipping up the cloud there, and some of that touching our west coast. Patchy cloud with thunderstorm activity is over northeast New South Wales and southern Queensland, and a trough has cloud over South and Western Australia. Tomorrow the high pressure zone continues to influence the eastern part of the nation, while surface troughs sit over the majority of the mainland. A cold front approaches Tasmania from the west. The winds northeasterly at first at 5 to 15 knots. They'll tend northerly and increase to 10 to 20 knots, then another shift, this time to the west, will occur tomorrow evening. Into Saturday we go, and a late shower possible for Hobart, 21 the top, 21 also for Maydena, a late shower possible for Oatlands, 18 the maximum. Launceston mostly sunny on Saturday and 19 degrees, 18 for Devonport, bit of cloud. Liaweenie 3 overnight to a top of 17 tomorrow. Burnie, a late shower after a fine day, 18 the top, 19 for Strawn, a shower or two developing for Marrawar and 17 degrees, while for St Helens tomorrow mostly sunny, 19, a top of 20 for Swansea and Orford. On Sunday, possible showers over the west and far south, but fine elsewhere. Fine and mostly sunny on Monday right across the state, and showers extending across Tasmania on Tuesday, but not much reaching the northeast. A shower over Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, partly cloudy in Melbourne, fine weather for Canberra and Sydney, but a shower once again for Brisbane. Little cloudy at the moment, 13 degrees in Hobart, 13 right now in Launceston, clear in Devonport and 11 degrees. That's the way the weekend's shaping up, Joe. My only hope is that you enjoy it.
Of course I'll enjoy it. I've got the nights off. I'm not with you. That's all from the news team. Thanks for your company. Good night.